Drop me an email. I'll put you in touch with Morgan, and he might be able to at least check it out.
Or pass it on to Bill or whoever, because my 84-year-old mother moved in with me and some
Nice space.
arrangements, and I've been ignoring the signal for years. Now it's time to send it to somebody who can use it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I can put you in touch with a couple folks.
Art classes, I mean, I've seen a lot of people take old pianos and carve them out and make art with some of the pieces and.
There are quite a few.
Yeah, I wonder if they would, yeah,
We had a harpsichord here for years. I got rid of it.
yeah.
Where did that finally go?
Gene found somebody who collects instruments for him. And so it's in a home, and it's climate controlled and being used.
Yeah, they made that from kids.
Yeah, I saw that. I wanted to hang it here. I wanted to hang it on the wall as an art piece. So somebody made it for us, but we found someone to take it. So.
Well, no, we'll start with the guy.
Yeah.
Did you have a specific order you wanted to do?
Uh, Blue Skies is first.
Oh, because they've got it on the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then God Bless the Child.
And then the little tear?
Yep.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, we're not flying by the seat of our pants. We've got an organization.
Yes, it would, place would fall apart without it.
Okay, welcome and good morning to the Unitarian Church of Lincoln. I'm Mary Kay Stillwell. I'll be your worship associate today, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees, and I'm out of breath. I'd like to offer a special welcome to those of you who are visiting for the first time. I hope you'll hang around after the service for coffee and conversation. Just a reminder, summer office hours have started here at the church. So the office is open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 1, and Sunday, 9 to noon. In a couple of weeks on Saturday, July 8th, we'll be joining the Omaha UUs for a fellowship and conversation gathering. It's focused on beloved community. Please watch the e-blast for more information. That's Sunday, July 8th. I hope you can attend. Be sure to save the date. Sunday, July 23rd, we're going to welcome home our minister. He left as Reverend Oscar Sinclair, and he returns as Reverend Dr. Oscar Sinclair. So we're celebrating his return and the return of his family with a potluck. Get it on your calendars, 5:30 at Antelope Park Shelter, the air-conditioned one, particularly important, late in July. A note, we have a special request. We need to rebuild our discretionary fund. It's before we can help anyone else. It's at an all-time low. So please consider giving online, excuse me, or in person today to help us build that fund back up. If you'd like to give a check for the fund today, be sure to write discretionary fund in the memo line. And if you have any questions, ask someone in the office. They'll have all the info. Finally, happy Father's Day to all fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, those who are biological and those who are chosen. Have a wonderful day. That's it. Our chalice lighting this morning is titled For Our Collective Liberation. It was written by Deanna Vandiver. We light this chalice, symbol of our faith alive in our world, naming our vision of collective liberation and daring to remember each other into a beloved community.
Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Lincoln on this Sunday morning. My name is Andy Larson, and I am joined by our worship associate, Mary Kay Stillwell. Over the last several years, the way we have met has often changed. But whether in person, on Zoom, on a YouTube live stream, or some way of being that we cannot yet imagine, worship together is a change to deepen our connection with the sources of meaning in our lives and to proclaim who we are and what we are about, throwing open the doors of the congregation and proclaiming the radical love and welcome that is at the heart of our faith. The Unitarian Church of Lincoln aspires to be a loving community, uniting reason with spiritual exploration to transform ourselves in the world. Welcome to this loving community. May we, in our gathering here, be about the work of transforming ourselves and our world. Please stand in body or in spirit for our first hymn, number 107, We Are a Gentle, Angry People. Oh, thank you.
anyone would like to come forward for the story, you're welcome to do so now. Our story today is called What Are Your Words by Catherine Locke. My uncle Leor is coming to visit today. I can't wait to show them around my neighborhood, and I can't wait for all my neighbors to meet them. Leor is my favorite uncle. They have many beautiful, colorful hats. The garden at their house is magical. They are a biologist and look at teeny tiny living things under a microscope. I learn a lot from Uncle Leor, like that people can be described by more than what they look like or what they do. In fact, there are lots of words to say who people are and how they feel. Some of those words are pronouns. Pronouns are words that can take the place of your name, like I, me, you, she, he, or they. Uncle Leor knows how important my words are to me because I am always growing and changing, and some of my words change with me. So every time they visit, they ask, "What are your words, Ari?" Sometimes I know my words right away. Happy, creative, funny, he, him. Sometimes I have to think about my words. Thoughtful, athletic, silly, she, her. Sometimes I have to try my words out. Sleep, calm, honest, am. Sometimes I just use one set of pronouns, and sometimes I change my pronouns. Sometimes I use all the pronouns that I can think of. My pronouns are like the weather. They change depending on how I feel. And that's okay, because they're my words. This time, when Uncle Leor asks about my words, I have a problem. I don't know which words to use, I cry. I can't decide which pronouns fit today. That's okay, Uncle Leor tells me, their smile warm. You have all day to think about it, or all your life to think about it. But I want to know my words now. He and him feel squirmy and wiggly to me. Those aren't right. I'll have to think about my words later because it's time for Uncle Leor, my sister Rachel, and me to head to our neighborhood's big summer bash. Summer is my favorite season, and barbecues are my favorite type of party. Rachel dances and sings in the street, twirling around and making me laugh. Rachel has her own words. Her pronouns don't change, but sometimes she's quiet instead of loud. Today, she is loud. Confident, tall, loud, she, her. Mrs. Bolton walks behind us, laughing at her friend Charlie's joke. Mrs. Bolton's cat chases Charlie's little brown dog up and down the sidewalk. Mrs. Bolton and Charlie each have their own words, too. Curious, baker, considerate, she, her. Shy, doctor, generous, he, him. Our neighbor Anna tinkers with her car in the driveway. When I first met Anna, she had a different name and used different pronouns, but now she goes by Anna and uses she and her every day. She's my favorite neighbor. I'll be there soon, she calls. Mechanic, polite, vegetarian, she, her. We see Robin Day and Zer kids drawing with chalk. When I introduce Robin to Uncle Leor, I use Zer words. Artistic, sweet, kind, Zer. Uncle Leor says hello and tells Zer their words too. Playful, collector, gardener, they, them. We'll see you at the bash, they say. Ava and George from the ivy-covered house are on their way to the summer bash. Nice to meet you, Leor, Ava says. They are Uncle Leor, I explain proudly, and everyone laughs. Rachel laughs the loudest and turns to me. What are your words today, Ari? She asks. I think about my words. She and her feel sharp and crackly to me. Those won't work today. Why can't I figure out which words to use? I want to be able to share them with everyone. When we arrive at the bash, we see our new neighbor. Hello, my name is Ari. What are your words, I ask. Hi, Ari, I'm Avery, and I use they, them, they reply. Like my Uncle Leor, I say. What are your words? Avery thinks, my other words are teacher, friendly, and loyal. What are your words? Avery asks. I scrunch my face. I thought I would know by now. I'm not sure what fits me today, I tell them. I try out some other words. A and air feel heavy and bumpy to me. Those don't fit either. You'll figure it out, Avery tells me. Sometimes it just takes patience. But I don't want to be patient. It shouldn't take this long to find my words. Everyone else seems to know theirs. I go to Uncle Leor and tug on their sleeve. I still don't know my words. That's okay, Uncle Leor says reassuringly. They're your words. They don't disappear. If you don't know them today, you'll know them tomorrow, or the next day, or the next. Soon it's time for fireworks. I wait for the show to start, just like I've been waiting all day to figure out my words. Waiting makes me buzzy like a bee and makes my skin feel itchy. When the first explosions finally burst in the sky, everyone goes, and suddenly I feel my words fall into place. Sometimes I know my words right away, and sometimes I have to think about my words. Sometimes I have to try my words out, but sometimes I have to wait for my words to find me. I squeeze Uncle Leor's hand. Uncle Leor, I whisper excitedly. What, they ask. There's another boom of fireworks and colors race through the sky. I point. Those are my words. I'm like fireworks. Impatient, excited, colorful. And they and them feel right today. Fireworks. Uncle Leor laughs. They squeeze my hand back. That's definitely you, Ari. My words finally found me. They and them feel warm and snug to me. These pronouns are perfect. When the fireworks are over, we walk home. All our words are floating with us, and our pronouns too. Hi there. I haven't met you yet. My name is Ari. My words are impatient, bouncy, excited, nervous, colorful, and hopeful. And today, my pronouns are they and them. What are your words? And that is the end of our story. I think we're going to do the next hymn, and the children are dismissed back to their classroom.
Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on. I never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, oh my, how they fly. Oh, blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on. I never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by, oh, when you're in love, my, how they fly. Oh, blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on. Yeah, nothing but blue skies from now on.
Thank you.
The central part of our services is the time we join together as a community to mark the moments of our lives. We share with one another our joys, our sorrows, the events that mark the steps on our journey. The threads of sorrow and those of joy are intertwined in the fabric of our lives, present for all, remembered by all. We share those threads, and then they are woven together with those of others in our community. Our joys are shared and magnified. We are comforted in our sorrows. I invite you to type into the chat or speak into this shared space your name or the name of another you wish to be remembered in sorrow. Cecilia. Kara. Ron. The mowed daffodils. Miller's mom. Erica Berkey Rios says sorrow for the passing of Heather Fox's father. Lynn says grieving my great aunt Evelyn, who died at the age of 104. We'll put that under joys, shall we? Lynn says, also the death of Sandy Brown. Amy and Veronica. Now I invite you to type into the chat or speak into this shared space your name or the name of another you wish to be remembered in joy.
Anna and Hunter married yesterday.
Congratulations to Anna and Hunter on their marriage yesterday. Happy 89th birthday.
Andy celebrated a birthday.
Yeah, okay, I turned 30 last week.
Joy for the Supreme Court upholding ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act.
Absolutely. The Supreme Court upholding ICWA. Barbara and Al Pearson celebrated their 51st wedding anniversary yesterday. Welcome back to Stacy and Ailish.
Anybody named Evelyn who can live to 104.
Yes. Amy Miller says, joy for all fathers, whether biological or adoptive or spiritual. Joy that Trump got charged. That might be a little more political than we're supposed to say up here. I don't know. We know, too, that there are some joys, some sorrows that are yet unspoken, but still deeply felt. Let us hold a moment of silence for everything unspoken. Thank you for your presence. Please remain seated and join me in singing For All That Is Our Life. I believe that's number 128.
Good morning. It's me again. My name is Dr. Bob Fusen. I'm the music director here at the Unitarian Church of Lincoln. It is with great joy that I have been voluntold or volunteered to speak about Father's Day, and in the spirit of busy fathers, I did not have a ton of time to collect my thoughts about this reflection, but I would like to share with you a few things that I have learned about being a father. When I was growing up, I had a stepdad named Mo. Mo was short for Maurice, but if you met my sister Alexa when she was here, Mo was Alexa's dad. And Mo was one of us in the sense that we were all victims of my mother in that house. And one of the things that I loved about Mo was that he knew that, and he was very good to us. I know he and my mother never married. I did consider him my stepfather. And while he didn't take on a completely fatherly role, he was there for us. He taught me how to shave. He would regularly engage with my younger brother in these athletic battles where they would race across the parking lot. But I think the most important thing about Mo in his semi-fatherly role was that he never traumatized us. In all of those years that we were living in turmoil, none of it was at his hand. He had come into this relationship where there were 3 children that already existed, and we were living with a very, very disturbed woman. And he was there for us. He never took that trauma out on us. He never took anything he was dealing with out on us, and he was there for us. And if I'm being realistic, that's really the role of fatherhood and parenthood, right, is to be there in whatever capacity that you can. And that sounds like the easiest thing in the world, but I think we can all probably think of examples of people who were just not there. I used to tell students when I was teaching college that if you just go to the class, you'll probably get a C. And they wouldn't do it. And so here we are given this incredible opportunity as parents, probably the only socially acceptable way in which you are given the authority to rule over someone's life. And it amazes me how many people opt for the most horrible ways to express that. We just finished watching this documentary about the Duggar family, where the man is the head of the household, but it always amazes me how quickly those kinds of things revert to putting their children basically into servitude and slavery. And it's not because of their religion, although that does play a huge part, because I grew up in a similar house and we had no religion. So being there, understanding the awesome responsibility that you have, which so few of us fathers ever get the opportunity really to do for a lot of reasons. One of the crusades that I've been on as a father is, I'm sure many of you have seen these books for kids called The Berenstain Bears. Those books are banned from my house because the father in those books is a bumbling fool. Everything is Papa Bear's fault. And that's just not the message that I want to send out, especially raising a group full of young men as I am. So a few other things that I've learned being a father. One, it helps to have an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. Not a good one. It doesn't have to be a good one. But I've found it's much easier to render discipline when you're talking in a goofy voice like that. Number 2, you have to be emotionally available. When the latest round of, I don't even know when it was, but there was a shooting at a school. Pick one. And I noticed a little debate on social media between 2 people, and the person in favor of guns said, without guns, how are you going to protect your children? And the response, which I thought was brilliant, was, how am I going to protect my children? I am emotionally available. And I thought that was really the best way that you can answer that. Because if I'm thinking about the things that were lacking from my upbringing, that I'm trying to bring to my kids' upbringing, it's that I'm emotionally available. And I know that a lot of the fathers in here are also emotionally unavailable. So happy Father's Day to anyone who is a father, a grandfather, fulfilling a fatherly role. Because a lot of times people are pushed into fulfilling that fatherly role. And sadly, because men, it's very easy for them sometimes to opt out of it. We're not opting out here. We are emotionally available here. I am less emotionally available to you all in this room than my children, but I am emotionally available to you if you need it. So, happy Father's Day to everyone. Please enjoy your day. Please take some time off and get some rest. That's probably the number one thing I see among my peers and colleagues who are also dads. I equivocate it too. If you've read Animal Farm, I always forget the name of the horse. What's the name of the horse, Tom, in Animal Farm? Boxer. Boxer. Boxer is the horse that says, I will keep working. And if you've read Animal Farm, you know what happens to Boxer. He works until he's dead. Please, gentlemen, anyone fulfilling that fatherly role, get yourself some rest. And a cold beer wouldn't hurt either, probably. Happy Father's Day.
Morning, everybody. It's great to see people that I know and people yet to be known. My name is Patty Cuevas, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. And I'm here today, I'm a member of the Program Council that is a liaison between the different, basically the activities and committees and the Board of Trustees. And this is part of a series that we're calling Cluster Connections, where we're letting all of you know what the different clusters, which is essentially a group of different committees that sort of fall into a theme, what we do at the church and how it relates to what's important to the church's mission, vision, and the UU principles. So in case you are not aware, the other clusters are facilities, who help us have this nice building and the grounds and many other things. Adult and youth education. Sunday services, the congregation programs, and the cluster I'm representing today, which is the outreach cluster. And you can kind of guess what that cluster's about. It's about reaching out into the community, showing up in the community. There are a number of committees under the congregation cluster that I represent on the program council every month. Some of them are the Green Sanctuary Committee, which champions environmental and climate justice, because the interdependence of life, we need to be aware of climate change and do something about it and ensure that we do everything we can for climate justice, because climate changes don't only affect people with money. The Social Justice Committee, which I'm on, and some of you might have heard my story, maybe not, about, this is the committee that got me into the church. In 2016, I was not happy with the way the world was looking, and I looked up on the website that, hey, there's this committee where you can make a difference with a group of like-minded people, and instead of feeling helpless and angry and depressed, I wanted to do something, but not just by myself, and I haven't regretted it ever since. The Winter Lecture Series, which brings information to our church and the community at large. It's an open, free lecture series about different regions of the world and timely issues such as the pandemic. And the Sorensen Committee, which is regrouping at the present time, that holds lectures on contemporary issues. The last one was on critical race theory at a time when we needed to learn what it was and what it was not. So all of these things, I think, really exemplify a loving community. And the lecture series definitely help us unite reason, stay open-minded, and We're helping to get out in the community, make ourselves known, let other people know us, and making a real difference through activism, through bringing opportunities to you all, such as when we sponsored an Afghan refugee family who's doing amazing right now, by the way, thanks to all of you. And just helping others and, importantly, showing up. That's one of the things that when I joined this church, going on 7 years, I think now, that really impressed me, is that people show up. They show up in the community, they show up here, they show up on all the different volunteer committees and activities that make up the clusters and the program council. And I hope that you feel that we're doing you proud. And I really appreciate your time today. If you want to chat more, I'm available after the service.
Thanks, Patty, and thanks to the Outreach Committee, the cluster. Each week, we take up a collection to support the work of this church and our partners in the community. We do this because just as we all grow from our participation in our community, we all give back through our time, our talent, and our treasure. If you were here for the announcements, today we're collecting for our discretionary fund. We have no funds available, but we do have needs. So if you would, please contribute. As I mentioned earlier, if you write a check, be sure to put discretionary fund in the memo line so it gets where it needs to go. As the song plays, the ushers will pass our offering plates. You can also give by texting UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. That's UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Them that's got shall have, them that's not shall lose. Though the Bible says, and it still is news, Mama may have, Papa may have. God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Yes, the strong get more while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't ever make the grade. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Money, you got lots of friends, they're crowding round your door. But when you're gone and spending ease, they don't come around no more. Rich relations give crust of bread and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, Papa may have. God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Of bread and such, you can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. Our reading today is a poem by Jay Home. It's entitled Jesus at the Gay Bar. And those of you who are conversant with Mark's Gospel, chapter 5, will probably feel like this is a reference to that, and it is. It's a parallel to what's going on. The boy in the poem, a young GLBT man, is struggling with his queerness, and the poem was about how he reconciles it with his faith. So, Jesus at a gay bar. He's here in the midst of it, right at the center of the dance floor, robes hitched up to his knees to make it easy to spin. At some point in the evening, a boy will touch the hem of his robe and beg to be healed, beg to be anything other than he is. And he will reach his arms out, sweat damp and weary from dance. He'll cup this boy's face in his hand and say, "My beautiful child, there is nothing in this heart of yours that ever needs to be healed."
June has always been a special month for me. Before I figured out that Pride Month was relevant to my identity, I saw it as my birthday month and the beginning of summer. By June, the vagaries of spring have usually passed into the consistent warmth of summer, Even in Nebraska, where the weather gets less predictable with every passing year, it's finally time to put all the sweaters away and stop wondering whether to take a jacket or a real coat to work with me in the evening so I don't develop hypothermia on the way back out to the car in the morning. I feel like I can relax that extra vigilance because if the weather is about to try to kill me, at least in the summer, I'll most likely hear a tornado siren first. Pride Month feels especially appropriate for June to me because for the queer community, it's a time for relaxing into who we are. We spread our rainbow wings and celebrate our identities and our community and everything we've survived to get here. Thanks to the effort and sacrifices of the generations before us, it's a little bit safer to be out and proud now. People faced ostracism or even prison if they were outed back when Pride was first celebrated in 1970 on the occasion of the first anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising. That celebration is essentially a celebration of survival. Like the first day of summer's rejoicing at getting through the uncertainty of spring and the struggle of winter, Pride parades and festivals come out of the dark times we've survived. Folks march in parades to show the unity of the community they had to build because the families that birthed them don't talk to them anymore. Some aspects of that community mostly exist because of the AIDS crisis. Lesbians and gays didn't have much to say to one another until gay men started dying without any biological family willing to nurse them through extended illness. Lesbians and bisexual women like Brenda Howard stepped up then, joining gay men and trans folks in organizing into a community of outcasts. They continued planning protests and feeding friends throughout the AIDS crisis and beyond. We march in those public parades knowing that things might get weird at work afterwards, but we might make it easier for a coworker who thought they were alone, too. Queer visibility is a double-edged sword. We're happier expressing our true selves, but at the same time, we're risking harassment and violence. The increased awareness of trans folks in our present society has resulted in better access to resources, with more people getting the vocabulary to understand themselves or their loved ones. However, it's also resulted in the utilization of our existence as an issue for the right wing to rally against. Sometimes people ask me questions about my identity. If I don't know them very well, I have to wonder, do they look to me as a role model as they figure out their own identity? Do they need guidance in supporting a loved one? Or will they try to use this information against me somehow? The calculations are similar for businesses that support the LGBTQ+ community. When a bar or a bookstore advertises drag shows or poetry readings, they accept the risk of becoming the next Pulse or Club Q. We all do our best to mitigate that risk as best we can, but it never entirely goes away. Target, which has been selling gay greeting cards and Pride t-shirts for at least a decade, has recently pulled some of their Pride merchandise due to homophobic and transphobic harassment and threats. Unlike summer, Pride also represents a rallying cry for the struggle not to go back into the darkness. While winter will inevitably come again, in some form or another, we don't have to yield to the rising tides of transphobia and homophobia. The increasing cultural acceptance of LGBTQ+ identities does not have to be merely seasonal. There is backlash, yes, but we can resist with solidarity and protest and mutual support and lobbying. Our community does not have to dissolve into online bickering and petty discourse about which identities are more valid. If the moral arc of the universe is to bend towards justice, we must embrace solidarity among marginalized communities. Lateral violence and infighting weaken the progressive movement. We don't all have to like each other, but we do have to support each other. As Marsha P. Johnson said, there can be no pride for some of us without liberation for all of us. We also need our allies. While I personally don't have it in me to join Out Nebraska's deep canvassing efforts, it's important work, and I hope y'all will support it. We also need more people on the welcoming committee here at UCL. It's pretty much on life support right now, and I do not have the time, the energy, or the creativity to do more than the bare minimum to keep it active. Please, if y'all have any of those things, consider getting involved to help maintain UCL's involvement in the struggle. Building and maintaining a welcoming congregation takes active effort, and some of that effort does need to come from allies, because your LGBTQA friends and neighbors are putting a lot of energy into just surviving. If you want to make that a little bit easier on us, please step up and help out. Get on the email list, come to a meeting, organize a movie night. We need you. Our last hymn is The Fire of Commitment, number 1028.
Our closing words today are by Jean M. Ricard. We have a calling in this world. We have a calling in this world. We are called to honor diversity, to respect differences with dignity, and to challenge those who would forbid it. We are people of a wide path. Let us be wide in affection and go our way in peace. Amen.
too thrilled to see. And in that tear you'll find a memory, one that means so much to me. In that tender moment we found a love to share. So my love, knowing you will always care. If you find it on your head, keep it there, keep it there. And in that tear you'll find a memory, so much to me. In that tender moment we found a love to share. So my love, knowing you will always care. If you find it on your hand, keep it there, keep it there. Keep it there, keep it there, keep it there.
Thank you.